So, hello everyone, welcome back to Talk with GenZ podcast. And today will be our first full podcast video. And we have the co founder of TIMUI app with us. So, please welcome Miss Joanna. And to begin with, we would like you to briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much for the invitation to this podcast. So, my name is Johanna, and I am one of the co founders of TIMUI. And essentially, we are a Cambodian tech startup, and we're focusing on bridging university students with employers here in Phnom Penh.
Okay, so that's really inspiring about your business. And I was quite curious about your app name because it's really unique, like TIMUI. So, is there any meaning behind it?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people have asked us that. Why TIMUI? For us, actually, it's two parts.
Mm.
TIMUI for students, the goal is we want for them to think of us as the first platform wherein they can find opportunities such as internships and volunteering. And on the other hand, for employers, we want them to think of us as the first platform to find early talents, young talents rather.
Okay, I see. So, um, I also quite curious about the story behind how you come up with this idea of building TIMUI.
Mm. Yeah, so how it all started, well, to begin with, myself and my two other co-founders who are Khmer as well, um, we were all students at some point, and after hearing stories from their experience with how they were looking for internship opportunities and volunteering opportunities in Cambodia as they were growing up as students, they really struggled, right?
Yes.
So for myself, it was also a challenge. It was also not an easy path to look for an internship to begin with. So then we were talking about it, and we talked with a few university students through projects or through career fairs. And we discovered that it is indeed a challenge to look for an internship because number one is it's all over the place. You use social media to really rely on how to look for internships or volunteering opportunities and referrals, or even through your university career office if there is one. So we thought about it, and we thought maybe, we could come together and build an ecosystem to make it easier for university students to look for internships, because we believe that Cambodia's young generation, they're very talented. That's not the problem. The problem is not the students or the younger generation themselves. They are talented. That is a fact. What we see is that the challenge is accessing. Where do we find these young, talented Cambodians? So TIMUI is here to bridge that gap, to allow our employers to find these young and talented Cambodians.
I see. So, I also heard there are different feature on your app.
Yeah.
Maybe you can introduce it to our audience as well.
Okay, well, as you know, we are not out in the market yet, but
Yes.
I'm more than happy to give you a sneak peek because this coming weekend we're actually going to be launching our beta version. So it's not like in public yet, but we will be presenting our beta version to the public this weekend. So hopefully, we'll be able to manage that. Okay, so there are two parts of the ecosystem, let's call it. First part is a mobile app for university students. So this is free of use. There are two layers in this app. So the first layer looks at the job market. And this is where a list of opportunities such as internships and volunteering opportunities will be listed down for the university students. And then another layer of that app looks into a productivity tool because, our users at the end of the day, they're still students. They still need to manage their tasks. So this productivity tool will allow them to keep track of their assignments, keep track of their deadlines, and also communicate with their peers through the app.
So, I would like to know more about the experience that you have gained from building the app. So, um, from your observations, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face during building the app process? Yeah, the process of building the app.
I've thought about this a few times. Maybe, honestly, I am not an entrepreneur. I didn't study business admin. Is that like
Yeah.
right? Like, or any business related course. I actually studied political economy, and in no way there's a business aspect in there. Um, I think the number one challenge for us is really to understand the grassroots challenge, right? Because before you build something, you have to understand what is the challenge or the problem that you're trying to solve. And for us, it took us a bit of time to really get on the ground, to talk to the people who we really want to help. And after, like having a few conversations, as I've said earlier, we really want to help the younger generation um, access to good employment, to skills development training. So I think the main takeaway for this is really to understand what the real problem is and to find a solution that is realistic but not overambitious. Mm.
So I also want to know, it's like, about the way that you approach the trust between the company that you are cooperate with and the students. How you gonna build trust between them? Yeah.
Right. No, that's a really good question. Actually, trust is very important in all aspects of life, business, personal relationships, or whatnot. For us, trust is number one. At the moment, we are a startup and we are at pre-revenue stage, meaning that we're not earning anything at the moment because we're still building our ecosystem. But what we are investing on or working on is trust, building the trust with all the stakeholders that we work with. So trust from the students, of course, trust from the universities, and trust from the employers. And these are very important stakeholders for us because without them, there's no TIMUI.
Yes, definitely. So, I also want to know, what keep you motivated or push you when there's a moment that you feel uncertain or overwhelming during the process of creating it, building the one.
I think maybe I can speak for myself as the business development person for the startup. I think it's more of every time I go out, to communicate or pitch about our startup, talking to different potential partners, it becomes very tedious. It becomes very time consuming and also, honestly, mentally draining. Even if I'm an extrovert, sometimes just going out there, talking to different people from different sectors, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is too much. I feel like I talk too much. Sometimes I talk too much. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. I don't really want to talk to anyone after that.
Yes.
But what motivates me, despite how tiring it can be to run a startup like this, I think is really the people who I want to help. I grew up in a family wherein I was taught to give back, right? And I think it's the morale that I've been instilled with growing up that kind of motivates me and pushes me to keep going, right? Because it starts with passion. I think passion is also one of the things that has allowed me to continue or motivates me to continue working on this startup. It's not an easy journey, but I strongly believe that if you have the motivation, if you have the inspiration, and for me, those things are quite evident for myself, I'm motivated by those two factors. And being able to work closely or know some of these university students that I'm currently working with, it does motivate me to continue because I know that the end goal is going to be for them and they will benefit from it greatly.
Definitely,
Yeah.
I will. So, moving on, I would like to know more about your mindset toward the way that you do the business so far. So, through your journey building TIMUI, what mindset do you think young people need most when pursuing what they want to do?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you in all honesty that within your 30s, that is when you only figure out what you want to do. I am I'm in my 30s now. And, you know, when I was in university, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to go into the diplomacy track, but look at me now running a startup, right? But it's all because of the experience that I've been through, the things that I've seen, that I've learned.
Mm.
It made me realize that the world is so big. You can go out and explore anything and everything. It doesn't matter if your background fits it or suits it. But if you see that you can learn from it, you can become it, you know? I hope that answers your question.
Definitely. So it's me like if you know that you can do it, maybe take a try.
Yeah, try. And I think maybe, okay, for our Gen Z listeners, I guess, what I can give you are three things. One is patience.
Mm.
I think it's really important to be patient. And it's not easy, never easy to be patient at all. Second is to find a motivation. I know it's easier said than done, but simple things like maybe you're motivated to do something because you do it for yourself, or let's say you do it for your parents, or maybe because you are looking at a certain goal in the future, right? So even the smallest things can be a motivation. And third is to always believe in yourself. Again, easier said than done, but it is very important. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't really do anything. If you rely on other people so much, yeah, it's good. You have your support system. But at the end of the day, if all these people leave you, who do you have? Yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, moving on to our last question. So, for students who have idea and ambition but don't know where to start, so what do you think is the most important first step that they should take, maybe?
This is quite hard. No, but I think my suggestion would be is to talk amongst your peers. A lot of people would think that, okay, I think this is a problem. We should solve this. But you need to validate, right? And how do you do that? You speak with other people around you because people have different perspectives on things, about life, about studies, about whatever, one, two, three, four, five, right? So it's always good to have conversations around people around you, because then you will only learn that, oh, there is this problem here or there is this problem there. I didn't know that. And you're only going to learn from other people. Talk to your friends, talk to, I won't say strangers because, depending if you're an introvert or extrovert, you don't feel comfortable. Or talk to your parents, have these small conversations with the people around you. I think this is one thing that I learned. Um, when it comes to finding, where to go after, is to learn from other people around you. Yeah.
So, this is the last question of our podcast, and thank you for sharing your story and insight with us today. And that's it for today.
Thank you so much.
Yes.